So, Stefan, your metaphor about women being like cars raises a couple of disturbing questions about my personal history with cars. One is that I got my first car from my grandmother when she was too old to use it anymore. Second, I agree with you in a sense in that women are like cars with manual transmissions, in that both of them have this little knobby thing that I can't figure out how to get to work. So I'm going to tell the first joke that I opened with last week. I'm going to read it from a book so I don't botch it. Wow, it's been a hot summer, hasn't it? My neighbors took advantage of it last weekend and they did some grilling. Either that or a cow died, and it was just that hot.
Nailed it.
So they say that your eyes are the window to your soul. And I think that explains why birds are always flying into my face. It's election season, and debates and round tables and news coverage and stuff like that. And I don't find any of that particularly compelling when I try to decide who to vote for. My voting decisions are determined entirely by those little lawn signs that people seem to put up everywhere. Which is why I am voting for We Do Metal Roofs for president this election. If you're wondering, I have a hat, I have a beard, I am dressed in mostly black, but I am not, in fact, an Amish person. I do think that suspenders are way better than belts, so I can see the point of confusion. I'm not a very good driver. I really should have, a left turn signal and a right turn signal, and a big light in my back window that says, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." It also doesn't help that I enjoy woodworking. Amish people, they do amazing things. They can put up a barn or a pole building in like a day, and they can't use power tools. And as it turns out, I can't use power tools either. But yeah, I enjoy making little benches and shelves and drawers and tables and stuff like that. So mostly I make furniture for my dogs. That's entirely true. I made a little bunk bed for my dogs. I made a little wall to keep my dogs from getting into the rest of the house. And it's interesting, so I have two small dogs, and they're sort of a proxy for the children that I don't have. In that, myself and my ex-girlfriend, hi Nicole, have joint custody of them, and it's sort of I think a lot of people my age are doing the same thing, and there's a lot of similarities between my dogs and hypothetical children, in that they dress in lots of cute little outfits, and they have to go and poo in things, and you have to clean up after them, and ultimately, given the cost of higher education in 18 years, they're just about as likely to be able to afford to go to college. So, okay. I'm not really a big sports fan. A couple of my friends are really big into, sports, and I guess, the football season is starting. Is it football? I don't remember.
Yay!
But, so a couple of my friends, one of my friends last night interrupted his Dungeons & Dragons game to draft his fantasy football league, which I think is just a lesson in contradictions. But I don't play football. I obviously don't play football. I also don't really play fantasy football. I play fantasy football, in that I draft a whole bunch of my friends who are in fantasy football leagues, and depending on how many points they get that week, I earn some number of points, and then if I were playing with anybody else, I might be winning or losing at this point, I don't know. But yeah, so my dogs are kind of like the proxy for my kids, and the interesting thing is that, they kind of run my life, and usually a person of my age and single and out there on the town would possibly have, a prophylactic device in his wallet. But I have these. I have them in multiple colors if you're kinky. So they pretty much they run my life. A couple of weeks ago, I was out and about with a friend, and he needed to borrow one. Because that's the whole thing, in high school. You keep it and your parents find it. Oh no, I'm just hanging on to that, being responsible in case one of my friends needs it. And that actually happened, but with the poo bags. So, I am colorblind, or to be accurate, I am red-green color deficient, and technically correct is the best kind of correct. So, I don't know if you know this. Ben, your bartender, is anosmic. He has anosmia. He does not have a sense of smell. So if you put he and I together, we are 2/5 of some sort of sensorily inconvenienced Voltron, or the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or something like that. And that's sort of a double whammy, because since I'm colorblind, Voltron pilot is one of the jobs I absolutely can't do. I can't be an actual pilot, but certainly not a Voltron pilot, because the alien monster will be coming to Earth, and we'll have to defend it. We'll have to form Voltron, and I'll be in the red Voltron, but I'm supposed to be the green Voltron pilot, and then the red Voltron pilot will come up and be like, dude, you're in my Voltron. And it'll be super awkward, and we're wearing spandex too, so that never helps. This summer, I was very privileged to go to my best friend from high school's wedding, and I've known him for years and years and years and years, and he went from sort of punk weirdo kid to a guy with a security clearance, which boggles my mind. But ultimately, we went down to the Outer Banks, and we were driving towards the ceremony, and I was wearing contact lenses, which I do not often wear. And I looked out the side of the window, and in the Outer Banks, there's lots of nautical and sea-themed places, and I saw a sign for a store that I seemed to think read, Fish Rental Store. And it in fact read Fish Retail Store, because that's a sensible thing, but that sort of made me ponder of what exactly would a fish rental store be. And for those of you who are younger, there used to be these things called video rental stores, where you would go and rent a DVD or a VHS cassette tape, or I don't know, a kinematype or something like that. Hold it like this. So I figured it's pretty much the same thing, but for fish. So you go there on a Friday night, and you get like 5 guppies and a halibut, and you're entertained for the weekend. I imagine that there are the similar kind of quirks of a video rental store, where there's the weird, creepy room in the back that only that strange guy who already smells like fish goes into, and so I just imagined this for a while, and then I realized that that's completely obsolete. I mean, who actually goes to a video rental store anymore? And so I figured that the best thing is Netflix for fish. So you go online, you say, yeah, I want three bass and some trout, and they mail them to you, and then you use them for a while, and then you mail them back in a prepaid envelope. And then I realized, who even does that anymore? So the obvious solution to this problem is streaming for fish. I'm so very sorry. That was horrible. I'm glad for those of you who have followed me along this far into this joke. And again, I would like to caution any of you who are still inside this ridiculous hypothetical situation of a fish rental store and all of the consequences I have illustrated herein. Really seriously, if you're ever in like a big city and somebody offers you a Scientology personality test, don't take it. It also is the random ravings of a fiction writer who really does not have your best interests at heart. And those are all my jokes. Thank you. Good night.